Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm your host, Dr. Roddy Raban, and I am super excited about today's episode because, as always, anytime we have an expert or a guest who is someone influential in their sphere, I'm always so grateful because, it's just difficult to get people to come, and especially on the weekends, and give some of their time. So we are ecstatic that we have Jomari Goyso. I'm gonna give you a little intro and then let him finish it up, who is a very prominent social influencer, trend advisor. I want to let him describe it, but very significant individual in the Latino community in particular out in Miami. And we're so grateful that you're here because I have a million questions to discuss with you. And I've been following you a bit on social media, and I really enjoy some of the stuff you're putting out there because it's very similar to the messaging that we have here, although different. It's still in the same vein. So welcome to the show, Jomari.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm just going to say my English is not the best, but I'm going to try my best to...
We love your English, and my Spanish and your English together we'll make this happen.
That will be the perfect mix.
Okay, Jomari, why don't you tell our listeners a little about who you are and how you got to do what you're doing today? Because you have, obviously, you created this persona that you have, and you are in the know in this sort of trends and fashions and things of that nature. So tell me what you do and how you got there.
Well, I work for Univision, what is the biggest Spanish language, TV Spanish language in US. I've been there for 11 years. I do hosting. For now, I'm the host in the morning show. But I think what is controversial about me is that I work all my life in the beauty industry. I'm a hairdresser, I'm a stylist, and a makeup artist. And I'm very critical about everything in the beauty industry. So that is what is very controversial, that I'm a person that works in the industry. I'm a person that I have my own plastic surgery, but I'm very critical of how everything is going. I believe I have a very powerful voice because I'm honest of what I think. And I really understand that people appreciate honesty. That doesn't mean I'm right, but it means that what I say, I'm passionate in that moment. That doesn't mean in 5 years I will say, oh, what I was telling you 5 years ago, I'm wrong. Because that happened in my life many times. I started working from a big industry doing fashion shows in Spain, in Paris, when I was 16. So now that I'm 42, I can tell. And I can see in the past, I say, well, what I was saying in that moment, that was so wrong. Because now I can tell the beauty industry has their way to influence people to do whatever they want, but it's not the best thing for people. It's just the industry want to push everybody to do things because that is how we make money. I always say, if you love yourself how you are, that doesn't make money. So nobody is going to encourage you to love yourself, because that doesn't make money. So that is the controversial about me.
Yeah, and I love it. And the irony is that's what's controversial about me, right? Because I am a plastic surgeon. I make a living doing plastic surgery. And I would say 95% of our shows are about what to be careful about, what to avoid, and the pitfalls of plastic surgery. So it's not necessarily very promoting of plastic surgery. It's about caution and, as you said, transparency. And that's why I was very excited to have you on the show, because it's one thing to have a doctor be transparent, right? It's almost expected. Although it's not happening, it's expected. But for someone like yourself who is in the beauty world, who's a stylist and does makeup, it's almost expected that you're not expected to be truthful because it's part of the beauty industry. It's, oh, you look beautiful. Oh, wow, that looks gorgeous. So it's wonderful then you are representing that industry in a good way. So obviously the biggest change, it's obvious, both in plastic surgery and in beauty, because they're linked, is social media. There's no greater change in the last 25 years, it's not makeup, it's not tattooing. There's no greater change than social media. And, there's a lot of things that have changed the beauty industry, right? They're extensions, clothing, photography, etc. But nothing has changed as much as social media. And the reason why it's crazy and so powerful is that, and I read one of your posts, which is so many of your posts are similar to my posts in different ways, which is, before, if you went to see a plastic surgeon, you would bring a picture of Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren is a real person, right? She really exists. And the picture you had maybe had a little bit of touch up because back in the day, there was no real Photoshop. Maybe they had a filter on the lens, but it was her. Now you are bringing crazy morphs of things that they're not even real people. And so as you had said it, you are now shooting for something that doesn't exist. And because everyone has access to now, before you didn't have access to it, but now literally if you're pobre, right? If you're poor and you barely can make your rent, you can still go to some clinic somewhere in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in some mall in Miami and do something to yourself. So it's exploded. And so, I want to talk about, in your opinion, what are some of the most dangerous and most problematic aspects of social media and what you're seeing in the beauty industry, whether it's young people or people in, models, or et cetera, et cetera?
Well, the first problem is the message under the beauty industry. The message is simple. You can look amazing, you can feel amazing if you do something to yourself. If you put this makeup, if you put this hair, if you do this to yourself, because it's an industry. So in the end, we all think, okay, we are ugly naturally, but if we do something to ourselves, we become a beauty person. People will see as beauty. Social media make that happen. Social media is the proof of that message. Why? Because social media, you can change your image and people love you. If you don't change your image, you are average. People doesn't love you. And it's so crazy because it's a reality. So if I put, I have a lot of followers. I have almost like 6 million followers. But I know if I put a filter on a picture, the likes are going to be double. It's a reality. It's a reality. Doesn't matter how I feel because I'm 42, so I'm not 25. When I was 25, I was crazy insecure. So in that time will be so different for me. The likes will be tricky to my head. When I'm 42, no, I don't give a F of nothing. So for me, it's like, I don't care. I put the filter, I got more engagement. So that is what I want. But I understand for my nieces and my nephews, that is tricky because they see how I get more likes when I put a filter. So they need to put a filter. That is the first problem, that everybody now can feel like a celebrity. And for many years, celebrity told everybody that being a celebrity was amazing. This is perfect. And that is bullshit because being a celebrity is a tricky reality that basically you can lose your sanity in a second if you believe what is happening. That is the first problem. Now everybody can feel a celebrity and they didn't know feeling a celebrity is kind of losing your sanity and losing your security about yourself. Another thing is you can see how celebrities are changing their image and they are becoming more successful. So changing your image is close to success. Right. And it's nothing that we can do because I fight so hard for that. But in the end, it's the reality. I can tell how many singers, celebrities, anytime their image is changing to the stereotypes, they are becoming more successful. So it's an industry that is never going to stop. So the poor person knows that the only thing to be rich or to have success in their head is to change their image. So they have to go to Mexico. They have to go to wherever.
Yeah, but that's not a new concept, right? It's always been that way. The rich, the powerful. It's just been it's just become so much greater. Before, the things you would do would be small here and there. Now you have 1,000 tools available to you, so you think. It just what it is what's always been about humanity, just magnified or amplified. I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just saying what's crazy is now it's human nature is always, you think when Cleopatra was around, beauty didn't exist. When they take a monkey and they put them in a box and they let the monkey have to go get milk from two different places, the monkey will go to the pretty mama. It's part of our wiring of DNA. It's not a social media thing.
Yeah,
But
I don't agree 100% because before social media, I was born in before social media. So I'm 42. I was successful when it wasn't social media. I was working with the Kardashians when social media wasn't that powerful. So I can see clear the difference. Why? Because now the image, your face is the first thing that can make you successful. Before, no. Before, yes, you can work in sales industry, whatever, but you have a lot of examples of famous people and powerful people that the image wasn't the first thing that everybody saw.
Sure.
In this time, no, the governments have social media and they have to check their image. Powerful people, Oprah, billionaire, you can tell how she get the makeup, how she get the hair. She need to look good in the social media area if she wanna be seen for people. Because before doesn't happen. Before it was different.
The reason it didn't happen before is because when you would see Oprah 20 years ago, you'd see her on TV and in a magazine. That was it. Now you see Oprah having lunch. Now you see Oprah in her backyard. Now you see Oprah waking up in the morning. So the more of these images, the more times a day you have to look perfect. Before, you look perfect on a set and you look perfect in a billboard. So it's the frequency of images. I agree with you 100%. Images are what are diluting this process. And there's no question that now that everyone can take an image every 10 seconds and put it out there and then looking for likes. It's
Doctor, but when you talk with a regular person and that person is telling you, I go to the streets and people most of the time want to take a picture with me. And when I want to take a picture, they always say the thing, oh my God, I don't look good to put it in my Facebook. I don't look good because the problem that has Oprah, everybody has it. Because in our mind, we all be judged for our image. And
sure.
I don't know how and in what moment in our lives we bought that concept that we always have to look like camera ready for everybody. So I don't know you as a doctor, meaning for sure, you can tell the difference. I don't know, but 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when people get crazy and went to doctors, like, I don't know.
So here,
before.
Perfect. So I've been a plastic surgeon for 20 years. Okay, I'm 50. You're 42. Sure. I'm 50. So I practiced before social media and I practiced after social media. I always had people coming in for their nose. I always had people coming in for breast lift. I always had people come in for breast aug and so on and so forth. What has changed is not that the person with an ugly nose now wants to do their nose. That's always been in existence. As I said to you, in the 1970s, it was that way. What has changed, and that's going to segue to you, is the nature of things that people are doing now is so outrageous. It's become so crazy. As you said, you have to get more and more and more. It's become, you're just average if you're pretty. Now you have to look incredibly unique. And so what we're getting now is BBL, lip lift, cheek implants, high ponytail. It's the temperature went from hot to scorching. The procedures that people are coming in for are now what I would refer to as extreme. You're 20 and you're coming in to get a Bella Hadid ponytail lift. You're 24 and you want a lip lift, which was originally designed for 60-year-old women. So I always had people coming in for, my mom had a nose job She's 83 in Iran. That wasn't because of social media. That wasn't because she wanted to be a celebrity. She didn't like her nose. Just like my mom is a cosmetologist, beautician, and a hairstylist, she would do makeup and do hair and for weddings. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what I think has happened is it's gone over the deep end. It's great to watch your weight. Keep yourself healthy and skinny because it's good for your heart and it looks good. It's not good to be an anorexic. I just think that it's gone way too far. So that's going to take me to my next question. You're watching these trends very closely. You're in Miami, you see the young people. Let's talk about the trends of the extreme things that you're seeing. And let's start with this. It's called
bone smashing.
Bone smashing. I just read it right now because I guess I'm not in the know. It is the craziest thing I've ever, it's probably one of the craziest things I've ever heard. It's up there. So why don't you tell me what bone smashing is and what's happening in the trend?
Well, you were explaining what people now want to get done in their faces. So what they want is very, the face very angular. How do you say angular?
Yeah, angular and defined.
Yes, very masculine. So in TikTok, always is different ways of you getting the same thing that Bella Hadid is getting, just doing in your house. Like always have been, how you make at home things with no money, with no money.
Yeah. It's a home remedy for things.
Yes, that is the mentality. So you have everything you want to imagine. How to get skinny as Bella Hadid with different techniques, free. How to get, and now it's a trend because you can tell many celebrities now they have the jaw different. It's just, you can tell the faces are so much defined. So they feel or they know or somebody say, if you would take a hammer and you hammer your bones in your face, the bones become more stronger because they create a skull something and become more stronger. And people do it. As the same thing that many times people kill themselves finding or following trends in Instagram or in Twitter or in TikTok.
So, but listen, again, we have a variety of trends. This one's insane. As a medical doctor, the idea of breaking your cheekbone with a hammer, thinking that it's going to become thicker and larger is the same as drinking, I don't know, Clorox bleach to detoxify your liver. It's in that realm of crazy. But it tells you, as you had said, how desperate people are to attain this image, this feeling accepted, feeling pretty, feeling liked, feeling received, feeling valuable.
Let me see if I can explain this in English. So when I was 18, I was 17. I was getting 18 October 11. So I wanted to do. I was already living alone. My parents were in a different town. I was living in Madrid. I was making my money, very independent. So I want to have plastic surgery. I want to have lipo. But in Spain, I couldn't have it without my parents' permission. So I didn't want my parents to know it. So I went to the doctor, a friend of one of the celebrities that I was working, and I say, I want to get the lipo, blah, blah, blah. And he told me, well, you need to be 18. I said, perfect. The day of my birthday, I'm going to do the lipo. Obviously, the doctor told me, no, don't do it. You are young. You can be on a diet. He told me all the things that I know. They were the things that he had to tell me, and they were the things that they were right. But I don't know how to explain it. In my head, nothing can change the decision that I was already made. I remember when he gave me the papers to sign, and I was reading the papers, basically the papers saying, if you die, I was, what the hell? I signed the papers. So what I'm trying to tell you, in that time, didn't exist the pressure that is today.
Sure.
So I understand why the people don't see the bad in things. I understand why when people go to you as a doctor, the only thing that they want to know is you can do it, yes or no. You're going to do it, yes or no. So I understand people in social media, they don't think in the way your mind is making sense. You think in the way I want to be seen. Because why celebrities as Madonna or many celebrities that they are queens in this world, they have to do things to their bodies. Because if no, there are no scenes. Because nobody see when you pass different time or when your beauty is not as the trend, nobody sees you. So you have to change it.
It's very true. And it's interesting because you take someone like Madonna, who, as you said, I mean, how much higher can you get than Madonna? I mean, you're the original. And she obviously has been doing things trying to stay pretty, relevant, attractive, whatever. And it's arguable to some people that maybe perhaps she's gone overboard and she didn't, you think she would, of all people, not need to do it. So let's take a quick break. Jomari, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. And I want to chat with you about other trends that you see, because I think from your perspective and my perspective, we're looking at this industry as a whole, you coming from beauty, me coming from surgery, and we're seeing these changes like this bone smashing or other things. And I'm curious to see what other things seem alarming to you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with the second half of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. All right, welcome back to the second half of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I am having a fascinating conversation with Jomari. So we're talking about trends, things that are going on in the social media world we live in today. We talked about bone smashing. You brought up a great point during the break, which is this idea or trend that one of the many catalysts to the extreme nature of what's going on, sort of the gasoline that's being poured on people's insecurities, is this idea that influencers are now not only disappearing and coming back and looking different, but they're actually taking people on this journey with them and having all this plastic surgery, a lot of which is facial, live and online and posting day by day and taking people through it. So tell me what you've been noticing.
Well, obviously, still people think the big celebrities are still like Hollywood celebrities. But that is changing, depends the person you ask. If you ask an older person, yeah, Angelina Jolie is a celebrity. The people for social media, they are not celebrities. They are crazy people. But people don't understand that the new generations have their celebrities in social media.
Yeah.
They don't know who is Oprah. My nieces, my nephew, they don't have an idea who is Oprah, who is Angelina Jolie, but they know a lot of influencers in social media. What is going to happen in 10 years? That influencers in social media going to be everywhere. They're going to be in TV everywhere because they are the new celebrities. Something that is very intriguing in social media is to watch a reality, kind of a reality. It's like you are talking with your aunts in your house about everybody and you are seeing everything. And that is in everybody's interest. So beauty sells. That is a thing. Sure. Why? Because 100%. We all criticize surgery, but we all wanted to do it. If somebody tells us 100%, you are going to look like this. But because it's not 100%, a lot of people, we are afraid of doing it. And we are afraid, so we are not going to do it. But in social media, is so many celebrities with 50 million followers, with 100 million followers, that the only thing they did is to change their image of what people thought ugly person to a beauty person. And it's addicted. And a lot of people understand that to be a celebrity in many different ways in social media, you just have to play in the beauty industry with makeup, with plastic surgery, changing, not changing. And obviously, doesn't matter if you're young or not. And I can tell that in your you can tell all the doctors say that. Like before was people over 40, 50. Now it's 18, 17, 19. They don't want the boobs, they want the lips, they want so many things because that is a trend in social media.
For sure.
That is a trend in social media. So social media is the number one impact in how we see ourselves.
Yeah, and I think you said it great, which is, to me at 50, I don't even know who these people are. I mean, they have no talent, they have no skill, yet because they're on there and they're exposing their lives and people are living, I want to say, vicariously through their transformations, they then become celebrities. And, unfortunately, the doctors are contributing. These people didn't get 7 plastic surgeries by accident. It's a win-win, right? So if a patient comes to me and she's 22, and she wants cheekbones, higher brow, lip, chin-og, et cetera, and I want to do it for her for free so that she gives me, exposure. This is a 22-year-old who's insecure, and I'm facilitating that. And so part of what I've always been trying to do is, on my end, is, you can't, it's really the doctor's responsibility at the end of the day to try to be somewhat of a gatekeeper. Obviously people will do what people want to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing to do. So is there
my experience with many years in the industry, and, I have many friends, the doctors always say the correct thing, but in the end, they do it if the patient wants it. That is my experience. Very little doctors. A few times my friends say, no, he told me or she told me no, and I have to go to another doctor. Yeah, obviously the doctors always are very correct. They know this is the reality, this is what can happen, this is the risk, blah, blah, blah. But it's an industry. Very little times they say, no, I'm not going to do it because goes against my values.
Yeah.
Very little times.
You're absolutely correct, and that's a very good observation. I would say that most plastic surgeons will tell the patient it's a bad idea or it's a risky. But if you want to, I guess that's fine. And in my opinion, that is terrible because I know the difference between right and wrong with the patients. And if a 22-year-old girl comes to me, hypothetically, okay, and says, I want a mid-facelift at 22, it's just crazy. I don't care whether or not she thinks she's ugly or not. It's my responsibility. I can't send her to therapy. I can't make her love herself, but I sure as hell can not participate or do it. So I do agree with you in that regard. Do you see, I feel like these trends are predominantly on the young. Since you and I are 40 to 50 years old, what trends do you see or beauty things you see are going on in patients that are a bit older? So the young patients are doing a lot of facial surgery, BBLs and lipo, and a boatload of facial surgery.
Yeah, no, but I think we need to talk about sexualization. Like everything you just tell, the BBL, the lips, is about sex. Is
soft porn.
Yes, in Instagram, social media is soft porn to the street. So basically, they get plastic surgery to get more sexualized image. That is 100%.
Well,
when I see what
you're not going to get more likes because you're playing the violin. You're going to get more likes because you look pretty, which in a image is sexual. I mean, at the end of the day, look at OnlyFans. There are girls who literally make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and they never even went to college. And here you are, all based on sexuality. So you're absolutely right. It is the underbelly of all of this is sexuality.
I believe the pressure depends a lot of your age. If you are young and you grew up in social media era, yeah, you are in a big progress. We didn't grow up in a social media era. So in the end, we have different values. I can tell the pressure of looking young and sexy, I can tell. But in the end, inside of my head, the values are for a different era. My niece, my nephew, the people that are younger, is completely different. And when you try to talk to them, they don't understand you and you don't understand them because it's a different era. So I understand 100% how people like 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, they want to change their faces because in their era, that is what is popular. That is what is close to success. That is what is to be successful in la era de social media. For us,
Yeah, of course.
I see like, people are getting Botox that before they didn't get a Botox. Injections with the fillers, a little bit. I can tell that people 40 to 50, they are doing it. I believe 50 and up, not that much, because in their mentality and their way of being, the power they have is not their image, because they didn't grow up in an era of the power of the image. They grew up in the era, the power of the money, the power of the thing you have, the power of the dream, the power of many things, but knowing the power of the image. In the new era, the power is the image. If you have a beautiful image, you can find a rich husband or a rich wife. It's different. It's another era.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you, as you said, you're not, because you can put a photo out. That photo will bring likes. Those likes then bring monetary returns, like you make, money on advertisements, and then all of a sudden you open a YouTube channel, and then you have a vlog. And so it really is the gateway to modern day success with these young people. Is there anything in particular that, since you're Latino, a third of my patients are Latino. I'm very, very, very connected to the Latino community. All of my charity work for decades has been in Latin America, Guatemala, Colombia, El Salvador. So I'm very united with the Latino community. I had a program on TV program with someone by the name of Luz Maria Briseño. It was a nutritionist, etc. So I know that the Latino community still, if you go on TV and you watch, everyone is gorgeous. Telenovelas, everyone is hot. Is there certain trends that are more popular that you see happening in the Latino community, or do you think it's all the same?
No. First, thank you for helping our people, for helping everybody in our community. That is so beautiful of you. And I believe, in the Latino community, it's a different concept of beauty. And what I can tell now, that a lot of people get plastic surgery to look like Latina. What is Latino? Latino is a curved girl, very sensual, long hair, very playful, that is a Latino. For me, it's a tricky thing, because I can tell that many women, they are trapped in a stereotype. So if they are not playing that game of the beauty Latina, so they are not seen. So I believe, like Sofia Vergara. What is Sofia Vergara for people? Long hair, curved, sexy, always playful. And that is the concept of Latina. I believe the beauty industry, the Miss Universe in the Latino community is huge. When you go to Colombia, when you go to Venezuela, and you ask a young girl, what you want to be in the future? Oh, Miss Venezuela, Miss Colombia. So that tells a lot about a culture. So in the end, the pressure of the body. So how she will become a Miss depends on her body. I always say, a lot of people, a lot of mothers write me to ask me, oh, my daughter want to be a model, whatever. I always say the same. Don't do that to your daughter, because to be a model depends on your body. It's nothing that you can do about it. It's not a school. You don't need to work. It's a body. If you have the body, if you have the image, you will become a model. But it's not something that you can prepare for it. God make you a model, you will be a model. If didn't, you cannot. So it's so much pressure about Latina women, because a lot of is based in their physical, in their bodies.
Yeah, no, and I definitely noticed that. I had 65-year-old woman coming to me asking me for all kinds of surgeries, and when I asked her, she says, I'm Latino. I want to look sexy for my partner. And it's a very cultural thing that you may not hear, say, from someone who's from India. It's just very specific. And the reason I mention that to you is if you turn on the TV in America today, you will see Asian, short, tall, bald. It's gotten pretty diverse. If you turn on the TV, any Latino channel, it is super gorgeous, attractive, hosts, models, telenovela. Everyone is stunning still on the Latino TV, like it was like the 50s of American TV. They're very, very particular. So let's wrap things up with one thing. So here you and I are, 42, 50. Both of us are on different ends of the same capsule, which is we interact with people in the beauty world. It appears that on your social media and your opportunities, you try to bring awareness, and you are, as you said, very honest, as am I. What are we going to do? What can we do? What should we do? And is there anything we can do regarding this dilemma? Because it's not good overall. It's not good for mental health. It's not good for happiness and joy. People, although they are successful, do not appear to be. The number of individuals on anti-anxiety medications, ADD, depression, suicide is higher than ever before. So we obviously know that this formula that's occurring, the social media tumultuous thing that you and I discussed, isn't necessarily good for people. So I'm just curious to know what you think the remedies are.
I don't think it's a remedy right now. I don't think so. It's going to take like 10 years to see people that they are very successful today because they changed their image, how they are going to look in 10 years. And the same thing that make them famous is going to send a learning experience to people. But that has to happen. I always think when I see these people that are 20 getting a lot of plastic surgery, and I always think, oh my God, they don't wait that they see themselves when they are 30. They are gonna lose their mind, because it's so sad, but life is gonna give them that experience and that learning. And at the same time, the people is gonna get that experience and that learning. So I believe it's gonna take years to people understand what's going on and to get the learning experience. I don't think we can be honest, and we are honest, but sometimes I feel like I'm going against the planet. So I don't pick, it's like whatever I say, nobody cares, because in the end, I know it's gonna go, people goes to the plastic surgery. I know in the end, and many people say to me, oh, really? You have plastic surgery done, now you're Christian? And I always say the same. Yeah, I have plastic surgery done, and that is what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
this is what happened. This is what happened.
Yeah, and I think it's very true. I don't necessarily think that, I do think that you and I, if you will, are a stone in the ocean. I definitely think that you and I are going against a major current. For me personally, I feel a heavy responsibility because I am myself one of the gatekeepers. In other words, that 25-year-old can't do the surgery without one of us. And at least for me personally, even though I know for a fact that if I say no, 90% will go somewhere else. But that doesn't mean that I have to be one that does it. So that's number one. So I don't participate because, well, shit, it's going to get done anyways. Two, I really, really genuinely try with the podcast, with my practice, with every way I can to continue the dialogue, even though I know for a fact that it's really mostly going in here and coming out over here. And yes, I get criticized, and many times people are like, wait, you're a plastic surgeon, you do this to people all day long, you're the one who's causing this problem, yet you're on here telling me that we're always going to have haters. But I definitely think that, the dialogue that you are having is excellent. And I commend you because, as I said before, it's one thing for a doctor to do it, but for someone whose universe is through beauty and cosmetology and trends and fashion and hosting, it's very common to just let it be and jump on this wave and surf it. You know what I mean? It's What's much easier to go with the current than to try to swim against the current. So I watched some of your posts and I'm very impressed, But at any rate, it was a pleasure. And I think that you're absolutely right. Time will tell. I assure you the generation before us said the same shit about you and me. And
Probably.
no, I'm sure of it, with tattoos and drug use and whatnot. And now that seems silly in comparison, right? There was a time where the idea of getting an entire sleeve of tattoo was, oh my God. And now you're like, what? Who gives a shit? What about changing your face, right? Yes, exactly. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, that was concern. What, are you crazy? So I think that every generation is giving the generation before a little bit of a heart attack. It was a great pleasure. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you obviously are busy, but we really enjoyed it. And I think that having someone like yourself echo and repeat the things I'm saying, I do think that you and I will, over time, help a handful of people. I hear it every day on my social media. Hey, thank you so much. I almost went and did X, Y, and Z. And so it makes a huge difference. And we're grateful to have you on our show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please put subtitles. Please use subtitles.
You did great, man. You did. No, de veras.
Subtitles.
We'll do subtitles. So where can people find you? Please give me your find me at this, here, there.
All my social media is under my name. Jomari, Jomari, Goyso, Goys is in San Francisco, O is in Orlando, Jomari Goyso.
Beautiful. Well, it's wonderful. I'm sure people will enjoy hearing what you have to say. And as always, muchas gracias y hasta el próximo vez.
Thank you, muchas gracias. Un abrazo.
El gusto fue mío. Chao.